Hello. I made this menu of lessons for the TOK textbook, and I decided to tell you all about it and how you can use it in preparation for the TOK essay specifically. My experience with students writing the TOK essay has been that they very frequently get the task, they look at the titles, and they feel puzzled and they don't know what to write about. Obviously, there are some essay title unpacking sessions that schools normally have that are designed to help students throw around some ideas related to the titles. But for many students, it still feels like they are unable to start because they don't know where to start. Some people, and understandably so, some people look at the essay title and they have no thoughts in their head. Some people have some thoughts in their head, but those thoughts seem a bit trivial or superficial. And some start Googling the question, the essay title or something around the essay title and find some sources and start reading those sources that are very rarely related to TOK, so they get all confused and lost. So I think one interesting way in which this menu of lessons can be used as a tool when you are preparing for your TOK lesson, for your TOK essay, is that you identify the lessons that could be relevant to you in relation to the title you have chosen, and you read those lessons in preparation for the title. And while you're reading those lessons, it gives you some valid ideas revolving around the key TOK concepts that could be important in your investigation of that title. And once you know the concepts and some key ideas around it, it provides a very good starting point for delving further into the depths of your argumentation. So let me walk you through this menu of lessons and how it works, and demonstrate to you briefly how we can use that in preparing the essay. So this is to accompany our TOK textbook, Themantic Education's IB Theory of Knowledge Students Guide. And here you have an overview of all resources. We have a Facebook group for TOK teachers. We have a playlist on YouTube. There are a bunch of videos that could be helpful for the essay as well, such as the series Typical Mistakes in TOK Essays, where we currently have 6 videos, I think. And another series you can find helpful is TOK Explained, where we have 3 videos currently, but more coming up. We have a TOK blog, and we have teacher support packs with lessons. And importantly, some of the chapters in our textbook can be downloaded for free as PDFs, so you can actually benefit from that as well, even if you don't have the actual book. I talk a bit about our TOK resources and how they're designed here and why we made them the way we made them. I talk a bit about this menu of lessons here, and then here we go. So this is basically an index of all the lessons that are included in the book. There's a total of 97 of them, and they're broken down into thematic units such as knowledge and knowledge, knowledge and technology, bias, knowledge and understanding, and things like that. And because the book is organized thematically, it means that every lesson is directly or indirectly linked to certain themes or areas of knowledge. And that's exactly what I tried to show with this matrix here. So the dark sections here signify a direct link, and the lighter sections signify an indirect link. So for example, if you're looking at lesson 41, demarcation problem, it's quite obviously linked to natural sciences because it discusses how to draw the line between science and non-science. If you look at lesson 49, historical interpretation, then it's quite unambiguously linked to history because it discusses the essence of historical interpretation and the limitations associated with it. And some other lessons, like a lesson on proof, will be linked to natural science and mathematics at the same time, because it both discusses the nature of mathematical proof and what makes it special, and compares that to how we usually get knowledge in areas such as natural sciences. Or when we're discussing discovered or invented, the idea of truth in mathematics. Again, there's a comparison between natural sciences and math involved. And as you can see, even from a quick look, we built our book in a way that usually means there's some sort of comparison between areas of knowledge involved in every lesson, which is just the way it's designed and the way it should be, I think. Or if you're looking at the lesson titled Subjectivity and Objectivity, lesson 62, which introduces these key concepts, then the discussion there revolves around, well, core themes, the idea of knowledge in general, what makes it subjective or objective, but there's also an inherent comparison between natural sciences and human sciences involved throughout this discussion of subjectivity and objectivity. So the way this can be used is, once you have selected your essay title, and once you have more or less selected the areas of knowledge that you will focus on, and you know for the current essay titles, you need to select 2 areas of knowledge for each of them. So that's probably a decision that you will make somewhere early in the process. So once you have made that decision, you can look at the respective columns and identify the lessons that would be interesting for you to read. So say you decided that you're looking at mathematics, for example, if you're using the first title about culture dependent and culture independent knowledge in mathematics, and you decided to read up on mathematics, and you identified lesson 25, proof by exhaustion, as something that is linked to mathematics and knowledge and technology, and that looks interesting to you, so you can just click on that, and it will take you to the slide with the description of the lesson. We have 97 such slides for each of the 97 lessons in the book. And it talks about things that you do in this lesson. So that's probably more important to teachers. If they're using the lesson plan, they roughly know what kind of activities they will be doing in that lesson. Things that you will think about in this lesson. So this gives you a gist of what the lesson talks about and what kind of problems are raised in the lesson. And then concepts, link the key concepts that are tackled in that particular lesson. Here go the links again. Knowledge questions associated with the knowledge framework, one for scope, one for perspective, one for methods and tools, and one for ethics, which are again part of the lesson. So all this gives you a very brief overview of what the lesson is about. Each of the lessons, because our book is designed in a way that it's supposed to be used in class during the TOK lessons, every lesson is quite digestible, which means that it's not long and it's broken down into easy to read bits. Together with all the extensions and with all the additional reading, the lesson is no more than 1,600 words, which coincidentally is also the maximum number of words you're allowed in your TOK essay. Actually, not coincidentally, it was totally done on purpose. And yeah, so it means that you can identify those lessons, do some quick reading, learn those key concepts that are associated with a particular area of knowledge, and go from there. And trust me, they will give you a lot of food for thought and a lot of ideas in terms of how to start your essay or how to develop your argument. Proof by exhaustion in particular talks about how the concept of mathematical proof was challenged with the latest developments in technology, when proof by exhaustion using computers allowed mathematicians to simply exhaust all possible permutations instead of coming up with a deductive proof that logically shows how theorems follow from previously accepted axioms, which is a totally different take on mathematics, and that's why proof by exhaustion had a very hard time being accepted as mainstream mathematics by mathematicians. And look at that, this is a free lesson, so you can actually download this lesson in the textbook as a free PDF together with the lesson plan. Yeah. And let me just scroll through the whole thing and show you what's at the end, because honestly, I don't quite remember. So basically, you can use that as an index of the whole book. It also talks about the other things that are included in the textbook. There's a whole chapter with the guidance on how to write the TOK essay. So if you do have the textbook, please make sure you read that guidance. It includes such things as typical mistakes, how to structure the essay, typical tools of argumentation that you can use, how to communicate your ideas in TOK essay, deciphering of the TOK essay assessment instrument, and even a TOK essay checklist that if you tick all the boxes, supposedly you will have a perfect essay. Yeah, so here we go. So once again, I will go back to index. If you're planning, if you selected one particular title, for example, about culture, mathematics, and one area of knowledge, what you can do is you can, well, probably if I selected mathematics and natural sciences, for example, the first obvious thing to do would be to look for lessons that have both mathematics and natural sciences highlighted here. So for example, this one on computer-generated knowledge talks about the new ways of obtaining knowledge where computers come up with a hypothesis, gather data, carry out the experimentation, and come up with conclusions. So they go through the whole research cycle all by themselves without any participation of humans. What kinds of questions does it bring up, both for natural sciences and mathematics as areas of knowledge? So that seems interesting. And then you can look for more intersections between math and natural sciences, like technoethics here. Not all of them will be relevant to the question, of course, but you will, with these brief overviews, you don't even have to read the full lesson to identify which lessons are relevant and which lessons are less relevant. So you will probably end up identifying the lessons that will be of use to you. Obviously, these sections where several lessons in a row are focused on mathematics are probably the ones that well, elaborate on the essence of mathematics as an area of knowledge. So they could be rich in concepts that you will end up needing for a deep analysis in your TOK essay. And you might want to familiarize yourself with those concepts. Like if you're writing about mathematics, you must realize what mathematics is and as an area of knowledge and what makes it different from other areas of knowledge. So for example, mathematics is an axiomatic system. So what does it mean from the perspective of other areas of knowledge? Are other areas of knowledge axiomatic systems? And if they are, or if they're not, then how are axiomatic systems affected by culture? See, these things, they give you food for thought. Okay, enjoy using the menu of lessons. It's available for free. The link to the menu of lessons is below this video. Tell me what you think.